What's up, guys? Hopefully my phone don't go bouncing out of place. Just kind of sitting in the cup holder at the moment. I had to go to the market and decided to just take a quick little drive because, yeah, I'm just starting to have doubts on the sale of my home because state of Oregon and Klamath County, like, the local government doesn't take any type of acknowledgement of their part in how they fuck with people's properties and property lines. And it's not something that was done while I was living there and all that. It was already done. So the previous owner, which I'll leave up in here somewhere, you know, a little screenshot showing the original owner, which his name is Albie Longuira. He bought the house and all that stuff and the land in 1966. And 13 years later, which again, I'll show up in here somewhere, that's when the county and the state of Oregon, created the tax lots for out there, which broke his land up into 4 pieces. I have the map from when he owned the house showing the property line for him then, and where the shop's at, where the boathouse is at, and all that stuff. And that was back in 2003. Where they did the line mapping and stuff like that, because that's when they replaced the septic and shit like that there at the house. So I'm getting told that that they're having problems on, you know, doing the property thing because of somebody dumped a deer carcass out here, but they're putting it on me for where the shop's located and the boathouse is located, because even though I bought the house and everything, it's like when you buy the home, basically what it turns into, and I don't know how it works in other states, but I'm pretty sure it's about the same. When you buy a home and all that shit, make sure that make sure to remember that regardless of what you're buying, you're not just buying, even if it's a brand new home, you're still going to buy a property with problems. And in essence, you're inheriting the problems of whoever owned it before, or whatever problems naturally existed there, and the builders didn't give a shit that they're building over wetlands or something, so the ground might be naturally, you know, soft and can cause sinking on a home and all that stuff. So, yeah, just keep it in mind when you buy your own home and all that place, you're inheriting the problems. When it comes to apartments and all that stuff, you're renting the problems. At least you have an ability when you own a home, you can and get a home, you can correct them and you don't have to necessarily deal with them. But in this case, it's one of those situations I can't correct because it's, like I said, the laws that they created and the tax lots they created in 1979 split the original owner's land up into 4 lots. And it states there in the law for Klamath County, it shows it right in there, which I'll show it up here again, that basically anything there existing is already, it's legal. It's basically grandfathered in. It's a legitimate lot. And what gets me is the tax lots don't match up with the plot maps. And when I was looking at the plot map, basically, none of it lines up. We'd pretty much only have I would only have like a quarter of the land than I do now, in essence, or half of it. Like, it doesn't match up. Which, again, I'll show that up here. And then, again, I'll also show what it looks like when you go through Google Maps. They show you what the taxable lots look like, what the lot maps look like through there with the property lines. Which, again, I'll place right up here. Because, one, I'm dealing with a lot of out-of-state airheads that don't want to take 5 minutes to look the shit up. You know, this is what gets me annoyed. I actually have developmental disabilities, you know, with my ASD, yet I'm dealing with people, for as far as I know, are neurotypical people that are college educated that cannot use critical thinking for shit. I don't understand why critical thinking is so difficult for so many neurotypicals out there, and it takes an autistic man to fucking look this shit up. Some of this information I had with my house paperwork when I bought it, and it's information that these companies have access to, and they just choose not to. They're trying to put something in here to keep this from bouncing around too much, so I can focus more on my driving and talking to you guys. But basically, I'm getting told I'm not gonna be able to sell my home because the garage and boathouse are on somebody else's property, when the original owner, who owned all of that, built it there himself. And looking at the tax lot lines and shit like that, that county's been changing the fucking property lines left and right, it looks like. Nothing matches up. And so, as far as the bank was concerned, when we bought the house, that type of shit should have been grandfathered in when it came to the boathouse and the shop. That all should have been grandfathered in. And they didn't. They're making a big deal out of it. I'm making regular trips to get my home repaired. To finish the bathroom, so I'm trying to make sure that any type of repair that needs to be done on the house, it's going to end up being something where, like I said in a previous video, like kitchen counters and stuff like that, they go to redo the kitchen, they're going to end up buying it from a company that's going to end up installing it for them. Gutters, it's the same shit. How many of you out there who went out and bought gutters, who went and formed and installed the gutters yourself? Not many people can do that. They don't really have the machines to do it unless they're, buying pre-made gutters and carefully going through and cutting it all themselves, and very few people do that. These are things that people end up buying from a company, and those companies install it themselves. And so I'm trying to do my best to, I'll just put it this way, I'm leaving that house in literally a livable condition where you can move in and live there, even though there's still repairs and updates that need to be done. You can still live there. I couldn't live inside that house for 2 years because it didn't have electrical or running water. I had to get all that shit repaired. I've given them receipts for that stuff. All that. And so I'm losing hope on the sale of my home. Win-Win Homes, they're being fucking lazy when it comes to their homework. They're sitting there saying they're going back and forth with the county, but if they do their homework, because the county's not going to do it for them. The county's going to do everything they can to avoid any type of responsibility. And it's like, they do their homework, as a business and like, look, it's like, sorry, Klamath, you're the ones who fucking created this problem when you created your tax lots and you literally broke up somebody's property into 4 different lots to tax them, on all 4 spots. So to tax them 4 times over for the same land and property they bought. So it's what they do to farmers, regardless of what state you're in different places. If they intend to put in, say, like residential in there or something of that nature, they will go in and they will break your land up into more than one taxable lot. Then what happens is then you get, instead of paying tax for that one piece of land that you bought, you're now paying taxes on two different lots or 3 different lots or a dozen different lots, depending on how many different tax lots that they broke your land up into. So that's how they tax people out of their home and off their property. No, I'm in a position, I'm stuck paying for a house I can't fucking live in. I mean, I could live there, it's just I don't have a vehicle that I can get around in now in the snow. I mean, my truck's done. It's done. My little Fiat is not going to get around in that type of winter. That's why it usually ends up getting parked over the winter and I have to use my truck. That little car doesn't get through 3+ feet of snow, and I can't sit and shovel snow every single fucking day for 3 to 4 months straight. By hand. You're talking a couple 100 feet by, like, I think it was 12 or 13 foot wide driveway by like 1 to 200 feet in length, and then the parking area itself is some like 50 feet by like 30 feet. And imagine having a shovel, anytime we got any snow, like when snow falls there, we can get up to a foot overnight. And if you don't get that shit shoveled out that next morning or that next day, it gets that much harder. And trust me, the first, couple weeks, it might seem, fairly easy, but then you get into that month, 2 month, 3 month, from October to April, we deal with snow. It's like 6 months of fucking snow. And yeah, at times there we get melt off, but that ends up, a lot of times you get melt off, a bit of a melt off 1 month, and then it comes right back and piles on top of what didn't melt off before. I physically can't do it anymore. When I got my 3-wheeler, that was to make it easier for me to be able to pull stuff around for the gardening stuff. I was eventually going to get like a harrow and all that stuff to make it easier on tilling up my property and all that stuff, so that I wasn't trying to do it all manually by hand with a regular rototiller, let alone for a while there I was using just one of those little what are those called, like a garden weasel type thing. Four little spiked prongs that you're just sitting there turning it. Everything I was doing there was completely manual and by hand because I can't afford to do all this other shit. I'm not rich. Came from a poor white family, okay? Okay, yeah, my dad might have served in the military and has done well for himself, but in the end, still lived in poverty my entire life. Like, even now, I live off of less than $20,000 a year. Hell, I live off of less than $20,000 a year. And most people bitch that they can't live off of less than $50,000 to $60,000 a year. No, I'm on the verge of losing my disability. They don't think I'm disabled enough yet. Yeah. NF2 is not curable. It's a degenerative genetic disorder that affects your nervous system. and causes these tumors to grow throughout your body that affect the joints in your body, the bones in your body, because it can start deforming them. It's fucking with my back already. It's been doing that. It's been getting worse. And then it also fucks with the muscle in your body. So you start getting a form of, basically you get muscular dystrophy fairly easy if you don't keep moving and exercising, even when it fucking hurts. And see, right now I've been dealing with, because I got another tumor that I found up in here. Got another big guy up in here. That, along with the tumor under here, right there. And I got another one right here on the back of my shoulder. It's starting to fuck with my arm really bad. It feels like it's been dislocated. I've dislocated my left shoulder before, so I know what it feels like to have a dislocation. This isn't dislocated, it's just affecting those muscles, so it's kind of like really severe tendonitis almost in your shoulder. So, I mean, I've just been working my fucking ass off on that property nonstop the last few years, 5-6 years, with very limited help, almost zero help. And it's crippling me. It's crippled me faster. It's been crippling me faster than just my NFS on its own. And then on top of it, dealing with the ASD and everything, so I'm having to work past those situations too, that come with those hurdles that come with this sort of way of living. It just makes things feel impossible right now. And it's like my dream of having a home I don't have to fucking put so much of myself into. I can't do anymore. That home's gonna fall apart over me before I can get everything done. And because I'm doing so much damage to myself physically, it's getting harder and harder, to the aspect that's why I don't just want, I need to start my own business. Then I'm not having to worry about whether or not I'm going to fire myself if I end up not being able to work that day because of my NF. There's no job stability for me out there because of my disability. Regardless of how many accommodations a business can make for a person, it's really, in the long run, not really fair for them to have to meet so many accommodations for somebody, because it costs them money to do that. And it's like, I'd rather build a business around my capabilities on what I can do and be able to, I at least know then at that point I have job security. I at least know at that point I have some financial security going on. And whether I have my SSD or not, I can afford to keep living, and I'm not going to end up homeless as fuck and getting told, oh, you're not disabled, like I keep getting fucking told. Why do I not look disabled? Because I'm doing things that I have no choice but to fucking do. And then they sit there and go, well, why haven't you seen a doctor? I don't have insurance, and I'm not about fucking my credit. Do I want to go homeless just to see a fucking doctor? I'm going to choose having a home over my health. My health has come second for a long fucking time. I'm sorry, but your living situation is tied in with your physical health. If you don't have a proper home to live in, you don't have basically access to clean water and all that shit, your health gets worse. It's not going to get better, it gets worse. Doesn't matter if you're on drugs or not when you're homeless. Your hygiene, all of it affects your health. Obviously, people know this shit. I've become more and more limited, and because I'm being cautious about not allowing myself to go crippled, because I already, any more than I am, I'm trying to keep my legs as long as possible. While at the same time, I'm having to fucking use them and I'm appreciating that I get to still use them, if you know what I mean by that. That's not the complaint. It's the simple fact that that process doesn't need to be sped up faster. I've been, at the same time, all my health, my physical, mental health, all of it has gone down the drain. Getting this fucking house, trying to get it repaired, and keeping up on, the maintenance of a home, the typical maintenance, and doing so by myself. And having to do so purely manually. And when I mean manually, the most I have for any power tool is like an electric drill. Finally got a skill saw. It wasn't until this last Christmas I got a chainsaw for being able to cut wood easier, because I've been doing everything with a fucking hand axe and a hydraulic manual splitter. Otherwise I was splitting it by hand in a maul. I don't have the money to go out and buy these machines and this heavy equipment and all this other shit to just go push a button, and all I have to do is just put it on there, push a button, and okay, it's done. Or I can just hop on in a tractor or what have you and just do what all these other people are doing. What I watch my neighbors do. I do everything. I've had to do everything by fucking hand. I understand hard work, and I continue to do so even when it's crippling me. And I do get fed up with the different ones that see this stuff or listen to this. Well, I'm the same age as you, and my job's doing this. Yeah, you don't have hundreds of fucking tumors the size of fucking golf balls in your body, taking away from the muscle that you need to get yourself moving and do some of the things that you're doing. You don't have it disfiguring your spine. And for those who are in those shoes, they understand what I'm talking about. And they don't have to be just people with NF2 or NF. I just know I've been really done with this house, and the fact I can't live there anymore, and I'm broke every fucking month paying for it, and I can't get rid of it. Why? Because some rich fucking Californian wants to come in and think they can buy a house for under $250,000 in Oregon that doesn't require fucking repairs. You're some dumb sons of bitches. And I'm sorry, Californians that are watching this, but it's your fucking neighbors that keep moving to Oregon that raise the prices here in Oregon. Same thing with fucking Colorado. The HOA company that functions in Oregon, the primary HOA company in Oregon, is the same company for Colorado, California, and Washington. Like, they all are... Yeah, there's a reason why value's gone up, because you keep dealing with out-of-staters keep coming in and wanting to put a price on things for the value of what they would have paid for in the state they came from. It goes beyond the voting bullshit, okay? It's everything. Leave your shit where you came from. Just because you bought something for $150,000 doesn't mean you have to go in and either buy it for that $150K. Cool, it's great level. Now we can turn around and rent it out for 3 times the fucking house payment. I just want this house gone. I want to be able to go somewhere where it's more welcoming, not full of all this weird fucking shit in the sense of not just the local politics is shit, and I guess that saturates everything, including into the realty aspect. I mean, half the time I can't tell the difference between Oregon conservatives and Oregon liberals right now, to be honest. And in case you're thinking I'm an Oregonian, I may have lived here for a lot of my life. I was not born here. And I can't say Hawaii is more conservative than Oregon. I can't say that, but that's where I was born. I was raised an Army brat, so I was raised on the road. And anybody who understands what an Army brat is, or a military brat, whether it's, from the Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army, all that, Space Force, and you're growing up in a family like that, you move a lot. So a lot of your values really do not, especially your core values, do not stem from the area you're living in, but it stems from the military aspect of things in that sense. And modern day military values don't even seem to live up to what they were before. And I mean, just in some cases it's kind of better. Others it's like, no, they pussified our military in a lot of ways. But that's a different thing. I just know I'm going through a lot of shit. And like I said in my last video, there's a lot of things I want to talk about that I really can't talk about too much right now. The shit with my house is just, it's really gotten to me. Because even though I've been staying with family, I've been technically homeless now since June. And it all falls back to somebody's selfish, narcissistic behaviors. It's like I'm being forced to go back to that. And I don't want that. And I'm at the point I'm ready to just say fuck it. There's a couple things I've got a gut feeling I'm about ready to make really bad choices on, and I feel like I can't make any other choice with it at this point right now. It's like nothing I can do. And in all honesty, I'm at the point, I'm not even going to say that because I'm afraid that, people might misconstrue it, because if something really does happen, people might turn around and go, oh, you did something. No, that area is just very prone to certain things, and I'm at the point that if my house suddenly, that area suddenly turned to ash, I would not cry about it. Insurance pay for that shit, and be like, well, no, I'll just sell the land and I'm gonna just go get a home somewhere else at that point. I'm just that done with it. I'm so tired. And I want to get my life going, but I can't get it fucking going. Being disabled, you're limited to access to what you can and can't do on a lot of things. And when it comes to work, even if it's something that you know how to do and you enjoy, you can't necessarily do on every single day, 9 to 5, or depending on what it is, you can't do it every single night, because of your physical limitations. That'll start affecting your job stability. There's a lot of people out there in my shoes that are disabled that are being forced to go beyond their physical capabilities because those fucking slave owners in Washington and in our state capitals and at Social Security seem to think that because you can still move your arms and legs, you can do all the shit that you're doing. This is a bad argument. Imagine taking somebody that relies on a wheelchair, has to rely on a wheelchair at times because they lose the use of their legs, and then being forced to work doing physical things that make that worse for them because it's all they know how to do. And the state and the government want to keep taking away from the very thing they worked their fucking ass off for to get anyways, so they can give it to somebody who fucking wasn't even here legally. I'm sorry, I have some really bad biases when it comes to Social Security. And for one, no, if you were not, I'm sorry, if you're not a legal citizen here, you should not get it, period. You shouldn't get it. If you've been a legal citizen here and worked as long as required to receive Social Security disability, then I could see it, so long as you're a legal citizen. No, you're kicking born and raised Americans off of fucking disability who worked their fucking ass off, going crippled, losing everything, so you can go fucking hand it to somebody else who didn't do a damn thing for it. I'm beyond frustrated. I'm beyond irritated. I'm beyond done with this shit. Yes, I can sit back and go, you know, those property lines are realistically no different than the fucking border lines when it comes to our countries, our states, our cities, our counties. There's a degree there that I understand that it's bullshit. Because it's how people in power divide us down more. It's a way that they control us more, and they can tax us on everything more. Yet there's also a big difference in that situation versus understanding the boundaries and borders of your nation, your culture. I mean, even between states, you see, especially when you go from east to west, you see blatant different cultures from state to state. It's the same thing that you see in between countries. They're blatant different cultural values and all that shit going on. Different languages, you know, might be spoken, or the way things are spoken. A nation's boundaries, to me, represent those more than just the boundaries of a nation and the laws within them and all that. It represents the cultures, the languages, all that are involved in there. And when you erase that, you start watering those things down. And I feel that it is important to embrace those things. Whether you're an American living in the U.S. or you're a Mexican living in Mexico, or any other country, you know, there's a level of love and respect that should be there and be recognized. And that's why I appreciate when it comes to the formation of these different countries, in essence, because they do symbolize the cultures and ethnicities and religions and languages and all that are represented within those places. When it comes to your personal property and the government keeps coming in going, oh, well, you've got, 5 acres of land. Well, there's enough land to put, 10 other houses. We're going to chop your property up into 10 different lots, and then we're going to tax you 10 times over on that one lot you originally were paying taxes on just one time over. That's where I'm having problems. Because it is affecting my ability to be able to sell my home. It's affecting my ability to be able to get into a home that not only I can afford, I can maintain and put more focus on just maintaining and taking care of, than having to put all this energy in repairing and trying to maintain what didn't need repaired, maintain what got repaired, while trying to do more repairs, and at the same time trying to maintain the land, clean up the land, update the land, do all this shit by myself. I want to be able to put more focus on being able to fucking work while I still can. I just want to be able to work for myself. And all those dreams are being taken away constantly. And people sit there and go, keep working harder, or, test your mettle. I'm sorry. There are people out there, believe it or not, who fucking work their fucking asses day in and day out and have nothing to show for it. And so many of you can relate to that. And in fact, there are people out there who are working their fucking asses off for damn near nothing and losing everything like I have been. My American dream was sacrificed so somebody else can fucking live theirs. And in a lot of ways, for people who didn't even fucking... I'm getting borderline. I'm starting to walk a borderline of an area that I don't want to walk in. I'm just fed up with the unfair treatment that we get here in our country in favor of others, when really those others should be favored by their own governments, just like our government should be favoring their people before others. If I immigrate to somewhere else and I become a citizen somewhere else, I expect that government to obviously prioritize myself just the same as the next person born there, and then put those who are not basically just visiting, might as well say legally visiting, their priority of protection there, but they don't come first. It sounds wrong. But in your house, does your family come first, or does some random person off the street come before your family? This includes those who married into your family, or you marrying into somebody else's family. Your family just got bigger. It's just, no, I'm losing myself with this whole thing, because I'm frustrating myself. I'm looking at, I've got all these things going through my head, all this bullshit where my home's concerned. I don't want what I'm also saying taken wrong, or even taken as a racist thing. I'm looking at the unfair treatment and the way things are being handled, even within my own state government, not just within our nation's government. It's making things really fucking hard. Like, in a previous video, I've shown people, I was living in a fucking tool shed at one point. I worked my way up from living in a tent, a makeshift shack that was using a dog run with tarps, to a fucking tool shed, which is now used for chickens, to getting into housing, working my way up to getting my own apartment, to working my way up to actually getting a home that at this point, physically, because of my physical health, I cannot keep working with anymore, because all my physical health and energy has gone into trying to repair a home that when I got it, it was not fucking livable. Yet it was the only one I could find in Oregon in that price range at the time that was the closest thing to livable than anything else. There was no other options. And you end up buying a manufactured home in Oregon, you're still spending $100,000 to $250,000, and in some cases $300,000 to get a manufactured home, only to still be paying between $1,000 and $1,200 a month. In some places, up to $1,800 a month just to pay for the fucking land to sit it on. So now you're making a house payment that's between, depending on what you're paying, let's say $800-900 to $1,600 on top of that lease shit, yet you're still also paying for your utilities, like your electric and shit like that. Your water, sewer, and garbage might get included when it comes to those places, but your electric, your phone, all that stuff is not. So you're spending, and a lot of times people are spending up closer to $3,000 a month to live in a fucking in a manufactured park. You pay more to live in those places and more in apartments than you do to own your own home, until the offset is in the maintenance and repairs. And when repairs go beyond your ability to financially keep up with them, not just physically, it's time to let that home go to somebody who can do it. Otherwise, you're fucking yourself, and you're also fucking the opportunity of somebody who may have needed that home and could afford that home, of having a home, which would have given you the opportunity of finding something that is more manageable for you. And in my case, that's why I have to move out of Oregon, so I can move somewhere that is more affordable, where I can actually be able to reinvest what effort and time that I put into this fucking hellhole into a real home, and even a small business that I can work. I'll be up front, because I haven't said it much. I haven't said it all, really. It sounds To some people, they're like, only, because it's a lot of money for a lot of people out there, but it ain't shit in America, especially Oregon, in places like Oregon and California and Hawaii and New York, and where it's fucking expensive to live. I'm not making a shit ton of money. I'm making literally just enough to be able to make a down payment on another home. Basically abandon all my shit because I'm to make the move cheaper. And only take what I can fit in one of those pods, because one of those pods is going to be cheaper to have it moved in one of those pod things than even using a U-Haul. And having some of it, of what I'm making from this home, if I can get it, if it sells, there's about half of that is being allotted towards starting a business. I'm actually not making a lot off this home. I can't afford to go get a $200,000+ home, regardless of what state it is in. But I have found homes that are in my price range, that are $150,000 and less, 2,000+ miles away, and they need work, but a lot of it has to do with carpet, paint, a couple of places I looked at, and a water heater, which I can do a water heater. Water heaters are actually not that expensive to replace. It's when it turns into, you need to redo, like, let's say, all the plumbing, the electrical, put in a new roof. There might be foundation problems. Those types of things. That's beyond my ability and my financial range of repairing something. I can make do with buying outside of, I won't buy a used bed. I will buy new. I'm not going to sleep on a used bed. And I don't care if I have to sit in a beanbag or something in my living room to watch TV. That type of thing. I don't care if I have some blue cobalt or blue stoneware looking type camp stuff, the camp dishes and bowls and stuff that look like that blue stoneware looking stuff. I have a set like that originally I had gotten for camping, but it's like, well, I guess that's going to be used as what I'm going to be eating out of when I move. So, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not having a lot of furniture and having to get it from a thrift store or a garage sale or an estate sale. I'm okay getting a couch or a kitchen table or some chairs from a secondhand place. If I have to, I'm okay with going and cutting a chunk of wood off of a tree stump or whatever to make a fucking stool or an end stand. I've already had to do that. I've got, four pieces of furniture that I made out of just cutting off chunks of tree out at my old place, and turned into a couple of end stands and a couple of small coffee tables, basically. But that's why I'm having to look so far away, because it's so fucking expensive here. And I don't mind going back to work cooking again and all that. If I'm going to go back to work somewhere and all that part-time, I want to be able to make sure I can pay my fucking bills. Because if I'm going to go back to work part-time while I'm trying to start a business, I need to be able to make sure I can at least keep a roof over my head and all that. When it comes to food, I don't have a problem growing a lot of my own food. I have a problem growing my own food when I got people constantly undermining the situation and every 6 months fucking around, and then I'm getting kicked to the curb and I'm sitting there alone and going, fuck, I can't live here on my own. It's not safe with my health being 50 miles basically in any direction of a fucking hospital. and no mass transit. And during wintertime, yeah, good luck. And in that area where I live, that section of highway, if you just go 2-3 miles past it in one direction, there's a 7-mile section of it that on average one person dies a day on that fucking road because of them being stupid during the wintertime and the way they drive. 11 cars on average a day get pulled from ditches and out of trees and all that shit from going off the highway and off because people are fucking idiots when they drive in those types of conditions. And we're talking on the highway, you'll end up with ice about 1 to 2 inches thick on that highway. You can't even walk on it at times without slipping and sliding. Anyways, I'm going to cut it here. I'm done with my little bitch fest going on right now. It's been really frustrating, and that's between the house stuff and, as you noticed, since I had spoke to my narc and everything and learned about a lot of shit from the involvement of their mother and family, the involvement of our child, even down to their abusive actions on our child that I didn't know about until they admitted to it, which is on the whole conversation. That first conversation is on here. It's just unlisted. And since that conversation, I've talked to him a couple times, and like I said, I've learned a lot of fucked up things, and I'm still processing it all while dealing with all of this shit. And honestly, I'm in, the only thing I keep thinking to myself is, I just wish somebody would save me from this shit. That's where I'm at this point. Because it's all, I can't, I'm not placing the blame on everybody else in the sense that I obviously have been made, I obviously can't, even no matter how much I try to make the right choice, I clearly can't make a proper choice because I'm going backwards in life. I'm not going forwards. And no matter how hard I keep trying to go forward, I'm being washed backwards, and it's like I'm ready to say fuck it all. I'm literally on the verge of probably making some really stupid decisions that honestly I don't want to make. Because I'm in that point, I don't really have many options. It's like I get fucked this way or I get fucked that way. Which way do I want to get fucked? At least this way I might get a reach around, where that way I'll probably, yeah. I don't mean literal, and I'm trying to keep some humor about this. It's just, it's not good. It's not getting better. It's not getting easier. Win-Win Homes are not living up to their word. They've already pushed things back from September 7th to October 7th, so 30 days to get another 30 days to get the home sold. And knowingly, they're probably, to keep me strung on a line, they're going to push it back again another 30 days, and then another 30 days, and they're going to keep doing this. And I've been homeless the whole time, and I've been paying for a house that I can't live in, because part of the contract is I have to keep up on those house payments while that house is up for sale, which typically that's how it would work anyways. If you own a home and you put it up for sale, you're probably going to still be paying for it till it's sold. But I'm not able to go live there and all that either while it's up for sale. They've had me homeless since June. Like, I don't have the option to go back. And if I go back, it's just one of those things of I'm going to end up having to tell them, yeah, I just cancel the sale for now. Just if it doesn't sell by the 7th, just fuck it. They haven't even paid for the escrow to begin with. When they said no matter what, whether the home sells or not, they were going to be paying the escrow towards the house. They haven't paid a dime. And I'm really behind on my bills at this point. living like this. Like, I'm having to pull a loan tomorrow to pay for my overdraft fee and to make the payment on my other property. Because this traveling back and forth is not fucking cheap. 600-mile round trips. Well, some of you rich sons of bitches who go to look at that house thinking, oh, it's under $250,000 and there's nothing wrong with it. You're a fucking idiot. To start. And you're gonna bitch having to drive 75 miles to go look at it. I'm poor as fuck making 600-mile round trips to go fucking repair a home I can't live in. And I'm paying for it. I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Somebody please help me.